What's going on, everyone? If you missed last week's video, we unboxed the VoshMods big brake kit. Today, we are going to be installing it on the SQ5, and I am not flying solo on this job. Izzy's here as well. Different wheels since the last time you saw this car. This is a custom painted B8. This is, Sepang was not an option on the B8, so he's got some work wheels on here, Sepang Blue. And actually, if you want a little preview of what this is gonna look like, he's got the yellow brakes as well. So, my brakes are a little bit darker yellow than Izzy's, but we got everything laid out over here. We got all the hardware that comes with the VoshMods kit, the adapters, the brackets, all that fun stuff all through here. And then we got some big ass rotors and one Izzy. All right, well, Izzy already has a caliper off over here. And the time it took me to get the set screw off over here. So that's why you get yourself an Izzy for projects like this. The stock rotors weigh in, you can't see that at all. Stock rotors weigh in at 30 pounds, 25. So these are about 5 pounds lighter, I think because of the two-piece design. Although those are technically two-piece, they're just lighter two-piece. 25 pounds each, so 4.5-ish pounds lighter. Both rotors are off now. We just hit around the head of the hat of the rotor to get it loosened up. You don't want to hit the face of the rotor if you're going to put them back on because you'll damage them. You'll notice these fancy new guys. These are the Caliper Brackets, the adapter brackets to run the CTSV calipers. So you'll notice this actually has a nut in it. This will go on and will hold in the stock position, and then this bolt and this bolt will hold on to the CTSV caliper when it comes on. You want to make sure that this top one is threaded all the way through. I had it threaded through. I'm threading it back out now when you're tightening the bottom one because the tolerances are very, very tight on this. And if you don't get it right, you're going to be in trouble. We got a rotor on. These do not have set screws, which is one downside, but what can you do? So we got 2 lugs in there to hold it on. Next step is going to be getting the lines, which are stainless. So an upgrade there. Stainless lines onto the calipers. Getting the pads onto the calipers. Now they gave a very nice gesture from Hawk. I bought these from Tire Rack, by the way. They're not sponsored. And the brake fluids from FCP Euro. But they gave me a very nice sticker. And of course, you know, when you get a sticker, you got to put it somewhere. So I'm just going to install it on my car. And yeah, get it on right. It's nice, yeah. There you go. All right. We had a lot of trouble on the other caliper. VoshMods provided some perfect customer service. So when you guys get to this step and you're putting the calipers together, the bottom is the one with the hard line. Put the bottom pin through. Have your pads in, put the bottom pin through. Put this thing at a 90-degree angle vertically, and it'll hook the lip. And then you should be able to push it down, and then this guy will slide right through. If you try to just slide it under like we did for many, many attempts, it won't work. So put the thing vertical, push it down, slide the next pin through, and you'll be good. And you don't need to take this thing out. I've done a horrible job of documenting this because we're hungry and we ordered food, and in the time it took us to order food, Izzy undid the old calipers and put the new calipers in on both sides. So we pulled the wear sensor out of the old caliper, and Izzy's gone ahead and zip tied it up right here. As long as it's plugged in, it won't throw a code. You won't need to code it off. But look at how freaking great those brakes look. It's focused on your face, Izzy.
Oh, that's it. I'm gone.
Those 3 things together are gonna look unbelievable. We also have a huge puddle of brake fluid on the ground. Don't call the EPA on us. Izzy just got the wheel back on, and that looks freaking amazing. Izzy has been cranking on this, and I have not been filming because I've been cleaning up the mess that was this garage. We do have the old rear rotors on the scale right now. I'm gonna grab a new one, and we're gonna get this weight figured out. 17. All right, so we lost a pound, but we went up 26 millimeters. This is going to be the e-brake bracket. We took the dust shield off, we took the rotor off. That's pretty straightforward. Izzy, any tips for taking the caliper off, or it's pretty simple?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. 4 bolts, pops right out. You could just
this one's
unplug the e-brake.
probably easier than the fronts, the rears, yeah?
Yeah.
If you're doing this and you turned your e-brake on to jack the front up, turn your e-brake off to do the back, and you should just be able to pull the caliper off. Then when you plug the Tesla e-brake in, those are already in the off position. If for some reason you unplug the e-brake while it's in the on position, those are going to throw a code. So what you need to do is plug the old caliper back in, turn the e-brake off, and then you can plug the new Tesla e-brake back in, and you should have no issues.
So these are just for hand tight only, right?
Yeah. We don't need, I mean, he doesn't need the rear brakes anyways.
I just said I can't believe this is my effing car, but I said it not camera friendly. Like, I've been dreaming about yellow calipers on a blue car since the S4 was wrapped Nardo white. That was my plan for the S4 in the spring after it got crashed. I was going to rewrap it blue and do the yellow calipers on some gunmetal wheels, and now here we are. And I'm staring at this. The yellow is the exact shade of yellow that I wanted. I really couldn't be happier. Man,
Oh,
but
yeah,
we're removing these. Izzy's on the phone.
Buy it. It's 25 bucks.
25 bucks, that's a steal.
Okay, $5 more. I'm not gonna think over it.
This guy's rich. If you didn't see my unboxing video, the pricing of this kit is, I would say reasonable, but a lot of people see it as high because it's front and rear. The fronts are $27.50 and the rears are, what would the math be on that? $22.50, right? Yeah, $22.50 plus $27.50 is $5 for the whole kit. One, the gyro disc rotors are sick. So if you're gonna order the kit without gyro disc rotors, I think you're missing out. They're freaking awesome, and they're obviously lighter than the stock rotors, which we proved, even though they're going bigger. Two, the Brembo GT kit, which I mentioned in the last video, is about $3,200, $3,300 for just the fronts. So the fronts are $27.50 for this. You could spend a little bit more money and get a rear kit as well that matches the fronts. And the benefit of doing that is instead of putting together some kind of like ragtag rear kit, the fronts and the rears are powder coated at the same time, so they're going to be the exact same color. They're going to match perfectly. And then you're supporting a small business. So obviously these are Brembo calipers, so you are supporting Brembo too, but Vosh has put the time into putting together these caliper brackets. Obviously, you know, the fun stuff like this. Like, nobody has stuff like this. But here he is putting in time to R&D this stuff so that it mounts up and fits perfectly. And you can do things with these cars that you're really not meant to do. So I'd highly recommend the product. Like I said in the last video, it fits S4, S5, B8.5. That's part of the S4, S5. That was stupid. It fits SQ5, Q5s. It fits C7, A6s. You name it, it fits on a lot of them. And then if you have a B7 or a B6 or a B5, he has fun parts for you as well. And I believe once the pandemic is over and he has some more time to R&D some stuff, he'll be going to the MQB chassis as well. So stay tuned for that. And if you have any questions, he's really great about responding to emails. It's VoshMod. I actually don't remember the email off the top of my head. But there's a contact form on the site. There's all that fun stuff. Another fun little VoshMods exclusive right here. This is the adapter for the Tesla e-brake to the OEM kind of e-brake harness, I guess. This is another piece that you would only get with the kit. Put the caliper on first. This Izzy did all of this. I did not do this, just to be clear. But put the caliper on first. The pads slide in through the top, one on the back, one on the front. Then you put this little clip in, push it down. It sits right in here on the pad, right in there on the pad. Then this guy goes through from the back. There's a skinny end here. It's a just like a long, I don't know, what would you call that? Like a pin? A long pin. Sure, let's go with that. It goes all the way in until you can get that. Can you see that? Goes all the way in until you see that hole. Then you just slide this little push pin. Thanks. Then you just slide this little push pin through. And the rear will be all together. It'll be held in place. So not as complicated as the front, but this does take some effort to get through. The e-brake, really easy. 2 bolts in the back. You just got to make sure that your little connector thing is facing outwards. If you face it inwards, it's going to get destroyed by the control arm. And then you just plug in this connector, and we actually zip tied this. Can I see? We zip tied this guy right here, just so there's not flopping around or hanging out back there. It shouldn't make a huge difference, but we just wanted to make sure it was secure. Alright, turn the e-brake on. Let's see what happens. Alright, I guess you gotta start it to turn it off, right? Oh. That was easy. Alright, boys, and my one lady that watches my videos. There's the fronts. They actually still look kind of small behind 21s. We were kind of laughing about that, but they look freaking awesome. The yellow just looks perfect. And the little detail on the rotors could not be better. And then you guys have not seen the rears yet, but here they are. Sick. All right, let's talk about this big brake kit that we just installed. I hope I covered in the video how awesome these adapters are, but these are really, really high quality adapters. You can tell Vosh put a ton of time into kind of the thought process and how to simplify it, make sure at least one of the bolts get reused for each of the calipers. So I'm really impressed with just the R&D that's involved here. I think the pieces that are put together are really high quality. But you guys aren't as worried about the R&D, although it's probably good to hear that I think it's high quality. You guys are probably much more worried about how does the kit feel. First off, if you're like me, one of the big pluses to buying a kit like this is the way that it makes your car look, along with the way that it makes your car stop. And yeah, it's a 10 out of 10 in the looks department, if you ask me. I'm very much impressed with, first of all, how much he nailed the yellow. I told him I want something similar to Giallo Orion, which is the color of Dr. M3's old Aventador. This is pretty spot on, if you ask me. I'll have to park the car next to a Giallo Orion car to really see the difference, but if you ask me, this is pretty spot on. Or the biggest benefit to these rotors versus the stock ones is that the hats are already either painted or powder coat or whatever they are. They're black instead of rusty metal that they were on my old setup, and that really helps out with the overall look of the kit and makes it look not cheap. As far as the braking feel, the top of the pedal is a little bit squishier than what I felt. I guess I should comment, I'm using, oh, this is a bridge. So I'm using the Hawk Street pads. These are not track pads, so they should be pretty friendly without a ton of heat in them. That said, I think the top of the pedal gives a little less feedback than what the stock brakes did. Now, where the system excels, and obviously where there's a benefit to having larger rotors and a larger caliper and more pistons, is that you should be able to modulate the braking force a little bit more than if you just had the stock setup. Bigger diameter plus more clamping power means that you should be able to modulate that bite point really well. The SQ5 stopped well before, but with these, I mean, like, I feel very, very confident in the setup. I mean, overall, this is just a killer kit, and when you, I mean, it's expensive. It's expensive, there's no way around it. But when you factor in how much a Brembo kit would cost for the fronts, this starts to make a lot more sense. And I mean, the dual caliper in the rear just looks freaking killer. So overall, really, really happy with the kit. Be sure to support VoshMods. He does really cool stuff, and he doesn't just have stuff for this chassis, he has stuff for B5, B6, B7, so check that out. Make sure to give him a follow on Instagram, check his website, and if you have any questions, you can either ask him in the comments and maybe he'll respond, or probably easier just to email him. His email's on the site. As always, I'm Eli. I hope you guys are doing well, staying safe. Thank you so much for watching. Go out there and spread some positivity, and I will catch you guys in the next video.